these are some of the materials that you might want to use. The first thing that you'll need is some kind of cardstock or cardboard. This is like the inside of a cereal box. You can also use cardboard, but this is much harder to cut. You'll want some good scissors, something with a circle to trace circle shapes like this cup. Here's another one if you want to make a bigger moon project. You can use white paint to paint the moon part. If you don't have white paint, you can use some kind of paper to collage with that has like black and white text. These are just sheets from a catalog. You could use newspaper or even just plain white paper if you want. You'll want a hole punch to punch holes in the cereal box material. If you're using cardboard, you might not be able to do it with the hole punch, but we have a different way to hang that. You also might want a glue stick, some string. This is rainbow yarn. You can use any kind of string you want, and a paintbrush for the paint. First, you want to trace 7 circles onto your paper. I'm going to use the bigger side of this cup, and I'm going to trace 7 circles. Remember, when you're tracing to cut things out, you want to keep the thing you're tracing as far to the edge of the paper as possible. So I'm touching 2 edges with this circle, and then I'll trace the circle, and then the next one I do, I'm going to touch right to the edge of that and touch the edge of the paper. This way you'll have a nice big piece to use if you need a big piece later. First, I'll cut the traced circles away from the extra cardboard, and then I'll cut all the circles out individually before I start cutting the detail out. Before we start painting, I'm going to decide which parts of them are going to be painted white and which parts are going to be painted black. So I'm going to separate them out here so I know which moon phases to draw on them. So I have my full moon here. This is going to be all white. These will be half moons, so I just draw a straight line down the middle to indicate where the half moon is. And then here are going to have crescent moons, so we have a waning and a waxing moon. And I'm just going to draw a crescent shape on that. So it looks like the moon is either getting bigger or smaller. And then the last 2 are actually going to be all black. So now let's paint. The first option that you have to color these is to paint these. So I have a few pieces from this catalog I'm going to put down to protect the table underneath it. And then I'll just put a little bit of paint next to it on the table, if I can get the paint out. Just a little tiny bit of paint. You can use, this one's acrylic paint. Acrylic paint will not come out of your clothes. If you have some, ask your parents if you can use it. You can also use white tempera paint. If you don't have paint, I'll show you how to use collage to make your moons white. But now I'm going to show you, you're going to need to paint all of the white parts of the moons white before we color in the dark part. Once they're dry, you can start adding details and then coloring the extra space black. You can use a Sharpie, a regular marker, or even paint. I'm going to use a Sharpie for mine today. And now I'm going to decorate this one with collage so you can see what to do if you don't have paint. I'm actually going to use more of this catalog to show you how to do this. So what I'm going to do is just take my piece of cardstock, put a bunch of glue on the back. You want to make sure the glue goes all the way to the edges. like that. And then flip that over onto your black and white paper. Newspaper works really great. You could even find a newspaper article about something fun and happy, or a catalog of something you really like, and find the black and white area on it so that you can cut out the shape. So I glued that on, and then I cut off the extra. Now that I've cut off the extra, I have a nice white full moon. If you want, later you can add some details to it. There's my paintbrush. You can add like moon craters on there so it has a little bit more moon texture. You could also do that with a crayon. If you have a black crayon, you can add some texture on top of that also. So it has a little bit more moon-like look. Now you want to continue adding paper where the moon is left white. You can cut crescent shapes or half shapes. And then glue those pieces on, and when you're done, fill in the black area with a black marker or Sharpie. After you finish coloring and painting all your moons, it's time to punch holes in them so we can string them all up together. When you punch the holes, you want them to be on this side and this side, not on the tops of the half circles, but on the sides, so that they hang together this way instead of this way. We want them, the crescents, facing each other. One way you can attach these together is using paper clips. Make sure that your moons are all facing in towards the full moon in the middle. So first what you'll do is slide the paper clip onto your first moon you're doing, and then turn it this way, and then turn it one more time, and then this moon you'll slide onto there like that. So they're attached by the paper clips. Again, you will slide the paper clip on to that moon and then go one more time through the hole, and then this moon you'll attach to the paper clip next, like that. And then you'll go all the way down. Remember to make sure the moons are facing in towards the middle. So you can also attach them together using string or yarn. So what I'm going to do is first tie a knot through this first one. So put it through and then tie that in a knot like that. I'm going to do 2 knots just to be safe. And then you can cut off the extra string or use some tape to tape it down in the back like that. This one only has one hole, that one goes at the bottom. So then you pick your next moon. That one is going to be my crescent moon, and I want it to be facing the inside. So they're all facing towards the middle. So I'll put the yarn through this hole first, pull it all the way through, and then put it through the next hole, right like that. And then pull it all the way through, and that will go on there. And then I kind of just stitch it in and out. So remember, the moons are facing towards the middle. So I'll put the yarn through this hole,